the makeup artist who has done my makeup has used gloves, and they are now used, you know, it's almost like your skin, but you know how these things are, you get used to it because you've decided that is how you want to do it. And the makeup was done perfectly fine. And so if we're not doing it before, well, that is our new reality. But that's for freelance.
It's interesting. Okay, we'll talk freelance, then you'll talk about studio after. But you know, it now means that, you know, normally your makeup girl was your very nice young little your friend who would come in, bounce into your house. Now you're having somebody coming out of Star Wars. By the time the person has goggles, a face shield, a face mask, a bodysuit, and then gloves, I mean, you know, are we not going to lose the whole essence, that personal, that it's not only about the makeup, it's only about the feeling good. Are we not going to lose that? And then how are they going to work with gloves, Tara? That sounds really scary to me. Are they going to do it?
Yes, so they are already doing that. I wish there was a way for us to show a video of my makeup being done 2 days ago. Once you saw me now, you called me suddenly, and you saw me and you were like, what's happening? You look also made up. I don't know if you remember. You called me out of the blue, and it was a video call, it was a face. And the minute you saw the video, you were shocked because you expected to see me maybe lounging in my pajamas at home or whatever. And there I was, all dolled up with eyelashes and everything. Everything was done with gloves. Auntie Mimi sent me a text 2 days ago. And she says, oh, how's it going with the gloves?
Yeah, I really wonder. Somebody asked a question, which I should answer. Yeah. That's my friend Olamide. She says, is this now not going to be much more expensive for us?
Of course, it will be. It will be. It will be.
It will pay for all this extra.
It will. It will be. Yeah. It will be. And, you know, I was just saying earlier on about how this is our new reality. This is our new reality. And these are things that having your makeup done is a luxury, right? And I don't think it's going to change that luxury of. And then you are asking, would you not lose the personal touch? Well, I think the personal touch is the person's voice, right? Yes. And it's a person's personality, and that can come out even if you're covering your eye, a hijab, right? So I think I used to it's our new reality.
So the new world of makeup. Tell us about the freelance. So what will you be doing that's new in the studios?
So in the studios, every customer who's coming in, temperatures must be checked. They must wear a mask. So there should be no entrance into any facility without face mask from the customers. Temperatures must be checked. Number 2. Number 3, hands must be washed. We're asking those of us who have studios to have the whole tap. You know, it's like a makeshift tap. Either you have the Seaway one or you have the typical bucket tap that you can buy from the market, the big one, and have that water there. You can put your hypo in it, you can put a soap in it, but make sure that the customers follow WHO 7 steps of washing hands, doing that, doing this, you know, putting their fingers, cleaning all their fingernails and what have you. After they wash their hands, then they, before they step in, you also disinfect the soles of their feet before they come in. Yes. Wow. so you have those sprayers, and the customer leaves their soles, and then you spray. Then you go into the store. The door should not be opened by the customer. You should have someone there who opens. So the makeup artist is already working in there. Like I said, the dress code. The makeup artist has to have their gloves, their face shield dressed up again, and yet again disposable cloth for having their makeup done. You know how in the past we didn't used to have, when you went to do your nails in the salon many years ago, you didn't. Cuticle trimmer is still maybe about 10 years old, right? Before cuticle trimmers, we used to go to the nail studios to have our nails done. How were they doing the cuticle trimmer? They were using disinfectants, whatever. Then after a while, they realized, no, with every single person. So when you go to do your nails now, you have to have your cuticle trimmer with you, or they bring a new one every time. Now we're used to it. It becomes standard. That's what's going to happen again with the makeup industry. So the customer leaves, you dispose of the tablecloth. I've advised that you can use your kitchen towels, right? And those can easily be disposed of, okay? And then everything that the makeup artist wears can also be washed, disinfected. The sprays also are disinfectant, so you have to spray what it is that you're wearing after the customer has left. For those of us who have retail stores, the customers should not, when a customer walks in, you give them gloves to wear. So they don't touch any product with their bare hands. They use gloves now. People are
Wow.
screaming it's going to be an expensive venture.
Yes, you can see that. Clearly, it's going to be an expensive venture, and it's going to take some getting used to. But you know, I was listening to a webinar just before we came on, I think organized by Emmanuel Chapel. And one of the doctors, Dr. Ogenyaki, he said, look, this thing is going to be with us for quite a while. So we just really need to get used to these things.
Yes.
So it's not a matter of us getting it off in 2 weeks. I mean, as fortunately, the government is opening up the economy. So we know that little by little, all our businesses will begin to open. But even so, we have to get used to this new normal because it's going to be with us for a while until they find a vaccine or a cure. Now, this brings me back to my next question. Tara, if the Lord had given you like a divine revelation, if he had given you a peep into the future, you know, when you were at Watch Night service on the 31st, if you had just said, my daughter Tara, this is what 2020 is going to do to your business, tell me, what would you have done differently?
Hey,
If you had known ahead what
hey.
2020 was going to be like for you and the rest of the world.
In my business, I have brick and mortar stores. I have invested heavily in shop fittings, in high rent where you pay 3 months. Some stores you pay per every quarter in service charge. I've invested so much in brick and mortar. I've invested so much in a high touch business that is personal, you know, very personal, very personal. You know your customers by name, you know their names of their children, you know, you are at their parties, their anniversary party, they invite you, their company is turning 10, they invite you. Very, very personal business, right? We have part of our distribution business is to also train our distributors. So we have micro distributors who are like young women who are empowered to become financially independent using our product line, right? These women, every month we organize physical trainings.
Yes.
When they're sending requisition for these things, right, that I have to sign off, we're talking about renting a hotel, right? We're talking about feeding. We're talking about hiring facilitators to come in and train. And we're these trainings, I mean, physical trainings. Then we have 3-month conference. And then I will do my hair, change wear new dress, new shoe, organize food again, organize hotel. You know, in some cases we'll do them regionally. So everybody in the Port Harcourt, South area will come to Port Harcourt from Bayelsa. I'll get on a plane, I'll stay in a hotel, I'll go with a PA, the whole, you know.
Everything that is banned now.
Yes, and then I will travel to Kano. Then we'll do one in the north, and people will come from Kaduna. They'll get on the train. We'll do all that together, and the same with Lagos, right? And then once in a year, we now have this big conference again. See the spends, and to think that recently, I had a Zoom conference basically. This time it was on Zoom. I sat the same place where I'm sitting with the greens at the back. And I had a screen with their pictures, names, and 1 hour, we're over. We're done put on the chat, tell me what are your customers asking for. First of all, start, how are you feeling? How's your head doing? How's your mind doing? I didn't need to see them, they put those things on the chat. It was even recorded. So
you can even
it was recorded. The Zoom, the conference was recorded. You know, in the past, you had to get videographer.
Exactly.
Photographer. Then 3 years from now, I'll say, hey, in 2014, we did a conference in Kaduna in one hotel. Can we get the pictures? Yes. We can use it for blah, blah, blah. This was recorded on Zoom. We finished. They took that entire video and went and took out the key issues, decisions I had taken at that moment, promises I had made, translated into a minute, circulated across the company so that everybody is now aware. This is what we are doing for our reps. And I was just like, what the hell?
So, like you see, what the devil intended for good. What the devil intended for evil. Am I losing Tara? I'm sure she'll be back in a minute. But I think the interesting thing, what she's saying, is the fact that this has just opened up a new world. So what else? So that's what else. If God had given you that insight, what else would you have done?
Auntie,
differently.
Auntie Andy. Hey,
Yeah.
Mrs. Z. I would have been exercising more. And I'll
Why?
explain why.
Tell
I'll
me why.
explain why. So I've always walked for 1 hour normally. But you know, I'm slim. I'm always afraid. I don't want to lose too much weight, but I have to stay fit. So I don't want to exercise too much. But you know, Auntie, I went into a shock when this whole thing happened. A mental block.
Yeah.
I went into a shock. It took me time to, when they say, get myself together. Right? Then my mind, we have almost 2 hearts. And I'm one of those, I live with my heart. So my people, they always tease me in my office. I should bring my breasts, right? They tease me that bring your breasts.
Mama.
It's a bit vulgar, but that's what they say, right?
I get it. I get it.
So you can imagine me walking away from the office and thinking, oh my God, there's somebody whose husband is not, he beats her. And then coming to the office would have been an exit for her, right? And now she's stuck at home with him for God knows how many weeks. We thought 6 weeks at the most.
Yeah.
And then there's this person whose parents are a pain, right? She's going to be stuck with her parents. And we're thinking about the husband who comes to the office hoping that he can make, he was going for sales, get commission is no longer there. I'm thinking about all of them. I'm thinking about their mental state. Now, when I came out of that state of shock, every single day that I did rigorous exercising, that I did 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers, I was pumped up such that my energy levels and my emotional state was more, what's the word? I had more ideas, I was more positive, I was more creative. And so if I had been exercising before, I would have known that the minute you start feeling this way, get on the treadmill. The minute you start feeling this way, go for a run. The minute you start feeling, it took me some time before I got a hang of that. The last one is, I would have fasted more. Because fasting it's not that when you fast, then God now answers your prayer more. Fasting is good for you because it's a state of pauseness, right? Where you can reflect, you can be more sensitive. And the spiritual sensitivity happens when your body is, I'll use a Christianese here, under subjection. And so if you are not eating, right, and you have abstained from food and the things that you like, then you're more likely to hear, you're more likely to be spiritually connected. And in this season where you stay at home, and you have to stay at home, in the staying at home, you can build a more intimate relationship with God that helps you to hear what He has for you, regardless of what's happening.
Oh, she's frozen again. But I know her heart. She'll come back in a minute. And one of the things she said was that if, because we had a chat before we came on. Yes, great. Okay. What's going on? Yeah, okay. You're back now. You kept going in and out, but you're back now. Go on.
Yeah. So, where was I? No,
you were saying that you had spent, that if you had known, you would have spent a lot more time fasting and praying before, if you knew this was going to happen.
Yes, So I now went into, I got into fasting, and I did some extra things I'd never done before spiritually, in terms of abstaining from food and all that in this period. And I saw the difference it had. So, in being spiritually alert, and one of the things it did for me was to become less focused on me and more focused on others.
Great.
And the minute you are serving people, your light is shining, it cannot be dimmed.
Exactly.
And so I had inspiration to keep my people inspired. I was inspired enough to engage my reps, to engage my staff, to engage, and to be more a richer person who had more to offer the world than being so, hey, 200 employees.
I And you know how it is. They say, strike the leader and the sheep will scatter. So you
That
needed
is-
to be that person that everybody's
Yes.
looking up to and
Yes.
moving with it. Fantastic, fantastic. So, you know, you'd already mentioned, you know, in passing one of the opportunities, because what I want us to also focus on is what are the opportunities we see in a crisis? As I always say, there is no crisis that there will not be opportunities. There are loads of people who are making pots of money, even at this time when others are saying there's shutdown and lockdown. But
Yes.
within this, your own business of beauty, what, I mean, you've spoken, you've spoken a lot about the fact that, you know, you've gone digital. I mean, as I said to you, this is my very first Instagram live. I mean,
Yes.
webinar.
Please let's give a round of applause. A round of applause.
Yay! And I'll tell you, it was when I saw Ifewa do the one she did last week Friday.
Yes.
You know, she
4
stumbled
hours.
into that. And I just said, what is it? Let's do it. They know our age. So if we mess up a little, they will understand.
Yes.
So that was really great. That was fun, you know. So, but having said that, what other opportunities do you think people can find in the beauty business, apart, of course, from the advantages of going digital? What else is the good that can come out of this, you know, time of tragedy?
Yeah, I think first of all, content creation. You have to find, apart from your makeup skill, what else do you have to offer? Are you inspiring? Are you funny? Can you add it? Can you focus on creating content? And I said some of the things that you already have. These are all the resources that you already have. A ring light. You already have a good phone, because as makeup artists, part of the tools of our trade, a good telephone that takes good pictures. You have your ring lights, right? You have your skill, and every time you apply makeup for yourself or somebody else, it's content that can be put out. So I think this is time to start creating content and become part of the entertainment industry, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Evolve into someone who has the capacity to express the other gifts that you have, but still using makeup as a way. So you decide what it is. All of us are different. Some of us are inspiring. Some of us are hilarious. Whatever it is that is special about you, can you bring it into this platform as a makeup artist? Of course, virtual, meaning those customers of yours, how many tips are you sending to them by video? You know, what steps can they take to apply makeup, this? What products have they used? And how can you sell those products for them? So that you're not just a makeup artist, you're also somebody who's retailing products for your customers to use. Many of us also are engineers. You know, there are loads of makeup artists. Many of the makeup artists in Nigeria are very well educated, university. Some of them are engineers. Some of you already have skills in the IT space. Let's begin to create apps, right? I want to wear a lipstick, but I'm not sure if the lipstick will suit me, right? This week, for example, the person who sent it to me, I thought she made a mistake, so I kept it. I just opened the bag, saw the wig, and said, oh, she must have, maybe they wanted to send it to somebody else. Unfortunately, it came to me. So I packed it up and left it. And the lady calls me just last week or so and says, oh, Sarah, did you see the wig I sent you? I said, yes, but I think, you know, I saw it. She said, oh, yes, it was the blonde one. I was wondering whether you wouldn't like it. I said, did you actually send me that wig? She said, yes. I said, I didn't even try it, right? But guess what? I took it. After first of all, I thought it was a bit much. After a while, I started to enjoy. I thought, this is interesting, this is different. But you know what? If there was an app where they give me opportunity, put my picture, right? Like our beauty apps, those beauty apps that we have. And they put in the pictures, and then you show me a red hair, right? And what I would look like with it. Show me a black hair, what I look like. Then I can make a decision as to what to use. We can create an app.
It shouldn't even be that hard. It shouldn't even be that difficult, because you know they have it for decoration, where you have a room and you can do this wall in this color, this one.
I didn't even know that.
So,
yes.
So the beauty entrepreneurs that have an IT background, this is the time.
Yes,
for you to
this is the time.
apps.
Yes.
Beauty apps. Yes. So content is king.
Correct.
Even for us in the event space, this is a time where, you know, we had a YouTube channel that we never really used. But right now, we're now populating it. We're using our webinars, we're using our soups, and so a lot of things that you never really had time to do. This is the time for you to do them. Yes. Yeah. So somebody said, Lami Bello. She said, oh, you both have the apps, but yes, we want to create the Niger one.
Our own, yes. And you know, we set the tone for the continent. If we start it, everybody wants. I mean, we get people coming from Zimbabwe to our makeup school. Even people who are registered on the webinar for Saturday. A lot of them from across the continent. If we do it, the other countries will do the same.
Okay, somebody is saying it already exists when you go to Sephora. All right then, so you develop it for House of Tara. That's what we want. Okay, now I'm going to ask you: have you, a lot of people, we have quite a few of the big names in fashion who have left their luxury fashion lines or children's clothing. They're doing PPEs, they're doing masks. Now, is there anything you are doing in the any COVID-inspired products? I mean, are you doing one of my my young daughters, Ore of Arami Essentials? She started doing a really handy sanitizing lotion. So is there anything coming from House of Tara that is actually COVID
So we have hygiene.
Yeah.
We now have hygiene products
Yes.
that we're manufacturing as well. Different hygiene products, but especially for our makeup artists and for our reps, right, to resell. So we have that. We're also extending. Now we're finding out that our customers actually want to take care of their skin. So we're working on our skincare range that will be out in a few weeks. We have been working on it, but we're slow on it. And so we already have a distribution channel that exists, but we had never explored that. And now customers are saying, so we have hygiene products that are coming out. We also have something for the makeup industry as well, in terms of giving them the kits that they will need to keep their safety protocols on hand without having to go and spend their own money doing so. So those are some of the new things that are coming out.
Fantastic. So you see, there's a lot coming out of it. I remember your brushes. The way you were talking about everybody has to have individual brushes. Tara, do you still have them in that beautiful orange leather pouch?
Yes.
I remember I once gave it to one of my younger friends in London. She does make she loved them.
Loved it. Yes, that was that's our first product. That's the first product we launched.
Yes, because everybody has to have one now, as you say, to bring your. And then I remember coming to a launch at Muson of a House of Tara perfume. What happened to that?
Yes. Oh, that was when we turned 10. Our 10th anniversary. Oh my God.
We've been together forever. We have history. I can never forget.
Wow. I must go and look for the pictures to see whether I can find a picture of you. Throwback. Right. That's when So we did launch. It was a limited edition. We launched it for our 10th anniversary, and that was it. And we never did it. We never continued. I just focused on building the company, and never went back into perfumes. But something I will explore as we go into home care.
Now, another interesting question I have to ask you, because I know that for your beauty products, a lot of your raw materials are sourced from abroad. Now, with the kind of situation we have, and as you do the skincare range, are you going to look more inwards and be doing homegrown products rather than
So we're homegrown ingredients, turning into powder and then translating them into use of our products. We have a lot of things. The only challenge is, we're always afraid to manufacture. We're always afraid to go into manufacturing as a people. But I'm collaborating with someone who was as a partner, right? So that I can bring in the channels, because I think one of the things that we have a problem with a lot of times is we create products, but we don't have the channels to be able to distribute them, right? So we already have that on ground. We also have our marketing edge, and then I will now collaborate with this person to create the products. Of course, we have feedback from our reps across the country who now give us feedback from their customers saying this is what they would like, and we started testing. So we started testing some of the home care products with our reps to get feedback from them to let us know what the customer is saying.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So you are a busy girl, and it's like this time has really helped a lot of us that are too busy for our own good to have time to sort of just re-strategize, rethink, and really put into place things that we need to put into place. So I'm looking at skincare products. I spoke about my friend, he's one of the really top Mary Kay people in London, and she always told me that no matter how bad a recession is, that lipstick goes up during the reason when people feel things are bad, they just face masks. I have to go out and I put lipstick and it's all smudged. I'm like, curiosity.
So it is true. They say that the beauty industry recession say that lipstick is one of those things that they consider to be little luxuries, and so when they feel down, they feel like I need to put in my makeup, at least my lipstick, because it's not too expensive. So even though there's a recession, you can easily buy a lipstick, and that kind of keeps you pumped up. Many of the prestige brands now invest in cosmetics, because they know that some people can't afford to buy a CD bag, or they can't afford to buy a Chanel bag, but they can definitely afford to buy a Chanel lipstick. And so it's part of a way also to get a new set of clientele. So yes, I do agree, but the way we've moved forward is that many of our lipsticks are now smudge proof. So we have, yes, so we have lipsticks that don't move. Like when you want to take them out at night, you have to basically, when you buy them, they teach you the way to take it out.
Excellent. And
yes, and there's now going to be more emphasis on eye makeup, right? So we just put together, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going right next to that question.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say a big shout out to Shemaya. It's great to see that you're here with us.
Yes.
And I agree with you. Abe is phenomenal. Mrs. Ighodalo has actually said that. Auntie Fee, she said now we focus on our eyes. And she has amazing eyes. So I want you to tell us, give us some tips about the eyes. What should we do? Because, you go anywhere, you hardly recognize people. Because once you go anywhere, you go and everybody's masked up. It's like a bit like a huge masked ball. And you're like, who is this? So how do you give us, you know how Yoruba say, Ojulo Soro? Or those eyes that are talking. So tips. What can we do to really make our eyes pop this time?
I think number one is the eyebrows. You have to get your eyebrows done. And a lot of women don't know how to do that. And you have to learn it. So hire a makeup, have your eyebrows done. Eyebrows have that. Learn how to do that. Because eyelash is part of it, but having your eyebrows kind of opens up your eyes. Okay. Right? And then I think the colors and what your shade is, and also your age.
I know.
I didn't want to say that earlier.
No, right? Say it. We're diamonds and we're Abby.
Yeah,
we're diamonds and we're proud. We have no shame at all about that age.
Yes. Yes. So eyebrows,
cosmetics.
So
I just saw another of my
eyelashes as well.
People on eyebrows, but yeah, eyebrows are really tricky. That and as you say, but now that everybody's, that's an important
yes, it's going to be important to know how to do that, because that definitely pops out your eyes. So I think everybody needs to learn that. Lashes, the simple ones, you come out of the mind, Auntie, you and they, that my 70 is download Zoom on her own in her house in London. By herself. Logged on to church on Zoom. Logged on to Bible study on Zoom. And I said to myself, in short, I decided that I was not using House of Tara Zoom anymore. Nobody before then invites me into the meeting. So I said, no, don't invite me. I will be inviting you with my own Zoom link.
even today, to set up, people had sent me voice notes, voice. Do this, do that. As I said, and then I took my daughter, Eritidayo, and she said to me, with her, you went to Cambridge and started life. I said, just come here.
I'm going to beat them up.
Okay.
Last week, Fee. I'm going to deal with them when I see them physically.
All of them. Okay. Now to bring you to the to our beauty suit. We were, of course, people were going to speak, and even up to the day we had the vendors meeting, I had said, because by then I think we only had the index case and maybe one or two easier abroad. We'll still be able to do it, and we'll have the sanitizers ready. We'll be okay. We can do it. I just slept overnight. I woke up that morning and I was like, I don't think I'm ready to take that risk.
Yeah.
I am not ready for just one person to come to that place and something happens. And the called our sponsors, Polaris Bank, to say, you know what? I don't think it's respectful. Even though I had messages, and you would not believe it. 3 hours later, the North Lagos said no more events. More than 20 minutes. 3 hours later. So that's clearly the Holy Spirit. But now, souks are all about people getting together the souk. Now, but I want you to tell, will you, the practitioners, vendors, will you embrace the virtual souk? And will even the people who normally come, will they embrace it? How do you have the vibe that same, what do you think?
Yes, it may not be, it'll be another version, a beauty souk. We must have event because that is the new normal.
Is the new normal.
We have to accept that and then put steps in place to make that. But how will it work? It will be either on Instagram or it will be live stream.
Yeah.
Right? And it will be about showcasing brand. We'll showcase the brand to virtually showcase brand. Or they can even set up souk. And we have a videograph each store to each store for price, right? Brands will be responsible for talking, doing things, do that make their brands attractive. Micro and small fair, and she was going to host her fair in Abuja, and it was just around that time that this happened. Now she has a lot of followers. She has, about 100,000 followers on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
And that was where she featured every brand that registered. And so it was more of a what you call a when you do the sales thing, what's that thing called? When you want to buy an expensive artwork and you do these, when people and they say going, what's that expression?
Going.
What's the expression?
It's like not to say an auction.
An auction.
Auction.
Aha. So you can decide that you're going to auction some things, right? And people now start to buy and an engaging for you presented a product. So for example, it could be Moyi hair, for example, and then she's displaying all the different hair. Everybody signs up and they are watching at the same time, but we have to find engaging content, right? Whether it's virtual in terms of video, live streaming of everything that's displayed, or it is virtual in terms of showcasing what you want people to buy and then getting people to actually buy at that very moment because there's a price slash, there is something that makes it exciting. And then you can say, and there's somebody else who's saying, how much can you buy? How much are you willing to pay for this or pay for that? I think it's possible, but we can think it through, but we must have it. We may not have the physical customers who are coming buying online now.
Yeah, Jellyfish just said something. I mean, which is what we're thinking of. We need to have a week-long souk if it's a virtual souk, and that's actually the way we're thinking, because it's going to take people much longer to make up the buying decisions, and then just so that people are able to go there. So we are really brainstorming, and we hope that by the summer we will be able to present you with that. But I was just curious to know and from all the comments I'm reading, I think people are thinking, that's going to be a great idea, and we know that you will always support us anyway. Okay, Tara, I'm going to ask you a question that's not directly related to beauty, because I did promise other entrepreneurs who are not beauty people that they would still, benefit from your wisdom as an entrepreneur generally. I was looking through your Instagram and I saw you giving like a shout out to your HR people, and it's HR. You say you don't call them HR, you call them PEEP team, and you're saying that they have staff of 200, get everybody all sort of gung-ho, just motivated people, and that they have enabled your office and your office environment not to be toxic but to be an enabling environment. I know a lot of people would want to know about that. How do you get a business environment to be such a cooperative, enabling environment rather than one? I mean, I can imagine 200 staff were into each other's feet. So what do you do to achieve that, Tara?
I think first of all, it has to be clear that it's the responsibility of the CEO. You set the tone for the culture of the organization. What you agree with is what grows. What you disagree reduces. So every time you agree to something, every time you approve something, every time you act a certain way, what you're saying is this is the approved way of behaving. That now becomes the culture of the organization. I think it becomes important that, number one, as the leader of the organization, you must know that you set the tone for the culture. If the culture of the company is going to be toxic, it will be because you are either enabling it or you are the source of it.
Exactly.
Number two, I think you also have to understand that people don't care about what you care about until they know that you care about them. So when people are coming to your organization, they come. I mean, I think it was 2 years. Jobberman normally does this 100 in Nigeria, and House of Tower was listed as one of those companies. And I remember the excitement in the entire company, right? And the excitement was almost tangible. And the reason why it was tangible was because people knew that truly the company is the best place to work, not because we pay the best salaries, but because people feel a sense of belonging. And that sense of belonging, first of all, you as the leader of the company has to care for the people. To whom much is given, much is expected. You have to care. And caring for people is thinking about their best well-being. You're thinking about their interests. And when people know that you're thinking about their interests, 90% of the time, they will give you their back. And if you have an organization where people give their backs, then it cannot be toxic because they're coming in and bringing their best selves there. It's nice to see. I mean, recently we one of the doctors, somebody had passed away, and it was interesting to see how many House of Tower staff used this gynecologist. And the question was why? Because one person uses him and therefore has engaged everybody, and it's almost like a family. So they were crying together because this was their doctor. And it was their doctor because they feel a sense of partnership. I mean, thinking about this crisis, for example, and seeing how we have a WhatsApp group, and see how people are engaged in the WhatsApp group, right? You see the people are calling themselves, right? We've created care groups where one person was responsible for maybe 6-7 people, and you must call them twice in a month, and call them at the beginning of the week to check doing well, and you check again at the end of the week. I always had a theme. Every week I had a theme of something I was speaking about, trying to inspire them. So we do a live Instagram, and in live Instagram I will share what my message is. The care group members are now responsible for taking that message and breaking it down and emphasizing it, creating posters, re-emphasizing it throughout the course of the week to keep their groups, it's like a cell, right? And those cells can happen because the people also care about people. And we talked about our culture, our company values, right? One of them is care. And we've emphasized it, we've taught it. When we even employ people, as we're recruiting, we recruit you with that in mind. So there's a House of Tower person, and we have 12 to 15 adjectives that describes who that person is. If you come into the organization and you're already like that, it's easier for you to fit in. When you come, because we already have the way we behave. And so these are some of the things, but I think it's the responsibility of the CEO to make the culture, the company, and then the HR. Anyone, whether you have 5 employees, 3, you have to have someone who's responsible for the people. But I made a mistake for some years where the HR person the person who was running HR was not the right person. And so sometimes you can be the person who cares, but you can have someone who's blocking that from happening. And I had enough courage to break up that relationship, but then bring in someone who every year won the most caring employee. At some point we had to take her out so that other people could
win. That's a fantastic thing.
Yes.
But Tara, you've said it all. It's about how the CEO leads the company. It's about the CEO showing that they care about the company, and it's about family. I've got to shout out to a couple of diamonds, because when you have diamonds coming on Instagram Live, so Bola Adeola Aziz, all my women for supporting me. So it was Ifewa that coined that time, diamonds for us, and I keep telling them they all know that than me. 3 of them are diamonds this year. I think 1 and I are next year or even year after. So great to have all of you on here, and honestly, I think that is so.
Auntie Bola Adesola is here as well.
Auntie Bola Adesola is here. Believe me,
yes.
Adeola Aziz.
Yes.
So I think that's right. Now talking about staff, it brings me to a rather delicate question. At this time, when there is a crisis, cash is king. And when you look at the costs that you have to bring down, invariably, one of the most of your employees, because it's obviously a very significant cost. But you have a family. You have people, you said it, you're worried about, you know what her husband needs, you know what her children need. How are you, we were talking earlier, and you told me about somebody who was like, just after she paid much salary, she gave everybody termination letter for April. But me and you, so how do you, many entrepreneurs who want to know, how do they manage it? They've got to engage your staff to be able to do this at this time.
I think first of all, it has to be about the investment that you made in the past, right? What's the goodwill that you have? This is the time to cash in on that goodwill. And when I say, if you're not going to sack people, then you need to be able to have a conversation about what the reality is. We ask ourselves, have we generated any money? So we closed half of March. So we didn't work for half of the month, right?
Yeah.
And we had closed down before that we're putting our lives at risk because we knew that we travel all the time and we could put ourselves at potential risk. But it's first of all about the goodwill. How much investment have you put in people that you can now cash in on at this time crisis?
Yeah.
And so for someone like me, it was easy to just say, you know what, let's talk about it. And we've always had an open book policy. We know how well we're doing. We know where we're struggling. We know what we need to fix. And people own the company. You have to literally force people to go and live in House of Tara. You have to shut down the generator for people to go home from work. That's how passionate they are, right? And so this was a fair conversation. You know, guys, we're not generating any money in April. How are we going to be able to pay salaries? And people suggestions, it was like, you know what, let's forfeit our salaries for we think that it's going to take maybe for 1 month. Let's forfeit that until we get back into work. That didn't happen. The next month, what we agreed on was, you know what, let's just sell online. Let each person call customers and we make money from the sales, and we now pay ourselves commission. So it became moved to a commission-based business, where people are now saying, you know what, I'm going to sell directly, and whatever I sell, the commissions will be paid to me. Even though in the past it wasn't commission-based, it was a salary, full salary plus your benefits and what have you. At the end of the day, I was saying to Auntie that my mom, you know, has very native wisdom. And she said to me, my dear, I don't care whether your staff says that's what they want. Everybody must write and put it down in paper and sign. And so we got the entire company to sign to say, okay, I'm committing to a commission base, right, for as long as we're not open for business. And so we got everyone to sign that and to insist so that in the future, if anything happens, you have a record to support that. However, it's really about the heart. And I think I got the heart of the people before we went on to doing the signing.
Absolutely. I just really wanted you to point that out, but to also point out that even with the heart, we are still business people first, and you want to ensure that you do the right thing. Because there was another webinar I was listening to, and even myself as a lawyer, I know that you must get everybody to write to agree that, you know, yes, they agree to this reduction in salary for such a time as this, and that it is not alone. So that it is not that when the company picks up, people expect that they will have it is not alone. So I thought that was important for people to know. Okay, we have a few more minutes to go, but I cannot resist asking you yet another unrelated to beauty question. But you know, I must talk about my brother, your darling husband, fella. Just share something. I know you have a lot of initiatives that you're, you know, encouraging married couples, and you're, you know, talking to people, because, you know, we all know that the home is under attack. Just tell us one thing that makes for a happy home. One thing that you know. I mean, don't say God. We know God. We need God. I want you to say something. I want you to say something. So, a lot of people are saying to apply to work at House of Tara. So, but yeah, tell us something. What is it again? What is it that can make a marriage tick for so long? That can still keep you together, supporting each other like this? I mean, you talk a lot about it, so I know it'll be easy for you to share. Just give us your words of wisdom on relationships before we
service.
Yes.
So there has to be a willingness to serve one another. So I will serve you, you serve me. I'm thinking of your best interest, you are thinking of my best interest. And as long as we're both thinking of each other's best interest, no one needs to think for themselves. And if they're not thinking for themselves, then they become selfless. And as long as they're selfless in the relationship, they don't insist on their own, that becomes true love. So the love that we're talking about of 19 years is no longer a romance. It's not longer that, oh, you know, even though that still happens, right? But it's beyond that. It's the intentional act of service. And the act of service meaning, what is your love language, for example? What is my love language? And that also can evolve. So we need to pay attention. But it's really about serving each other. How am I serving your best interest? And when we are analyzing how well we're doing, we have to ask ourselves, how well am I serving him? And he has to ask himself, how well is he serving me?
Absolutely. Fantastic. You see, I knew, even though I surprised you with that, I knew you would give me something that people will take away. I mean, Tara, this has been absolutely amazing. You told me it would be easy, and it really was. And I think the good thing is because it's only your face I'm seeing. So I'm just, so me and you are just gisting, which is nothing or serious. So just to remind all the people who've been with us, thank you so much for being here. We'd like to remind you that there's a makeup artist webinar tomorrow. House of Tara is organizing it. We already have 600 people. You've got to be a part of that. If you're a makeup artist, please spread the word. Go onto her Instagram or House of Tara. And to also let you know, Phil has also started a series of webinars. And the next one we're having next week, Friday, May 29th at 5 p.m. is the impact of COVID-19 on mental health. Because we all know that, I mean, as entrepreneurs, as employees, as business people, as family people, there is an impact on our mental health. So please be there. We'll put out the flyers on all our Instagram handles. Tara, you have been amazing. Everybody loves your blonde hair. You have been engaging. I mean, it is no wonder you're such a light in the industry. Thank you so much for being here.